Hey there, good morning everybody. Christopher Reese with Texas West Capital. It's a few minutes after 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here on Wednesday the 9th of December 2020. San Antonio, Texas. Cool, but nice bright sunny day out there. Hopefully you guys are having a good day as well. Or evening. Some of y'all are probably getting closer to evening over there. So good to see y'all checking in. Who's here already? Nevlusian, what's going on? Sean's here. LG's here. Satoshi Ray Bitcoin checking in. Let's see here. Mechanic, what's up, man? Greg B is here. Data's checking in as well. And Brian Riley, of course, is here. Again, we had a drop overnight. One of our targets there in Discord, so it hit it almost to the T, almost exactly. Is it done? Is that enough? Is it ready to go up now? I know everybody wants it to be, but let's take a look at it, here in a minute, and we'll see. Hey there, Finn. Good to see you. Baker, what's up, man? Esteban checking in as well. Hey, by the way, if you haven't joined us yet, be sure to do so. HowToTradeToWin.com. We'd love to have you there. If you join Tier 3, guys, you're going to get, it says 30 plus hours of educational video content and growing, and it's not kidding. We've got almost 40 hours of educational video content now. We get about an average of just over 50 setups every week that you get access to. And then, of course, we have 20 assets that we track on a daily and intraday basis. So those across, stock market, Forex, crypto, gold, silver, oil, natural gas, a whole bunch of stuff there. So a little bit of something for everybody, guys. And the best part about it is a lot of our members are starting to move beyond just crypto, which is great. They're starting to make huge profits in, stocks have just been amazing what we've been able to do for profits there. Or in Forex, again, in metals and other commodities. So, learning that they can extend what they're, learning as far as trader goes, and you kind of put that in other markets. So, a lot of great stuff there. Hey there, Hank. Good to see you checking in. So, let's go on and jump over here. So, if you've been following with us, if you're not in Discord, but you've at least been following with us on these, thrice a week, videos that we do here, live streams that we do. We were watching three different counts. We had a triangle count. This whole thing is a triangle, is an A, B, C, D, and we're looking at E. But I kept warning you, I said, listen, you could, matter of fact, I think it was Monday. I said you could enter now and then just put your stop loss below this swing low over here. Or you could wait for it to break up above this swing high over here, which would have been wave D, and then enter and put your stop loss below wave E. And I said, my choice would be wait for the breakout of wave D, because this was the possibility. And if you entered here, you have a lot further to lose here than you would have to not gain as profit here if you just waited for the breakout of D. So anyway, price came down, went down below this level, wiped out that larger triangle scenario. Left us with the other two scenarios we have. And so I've updated there with Discord the purple one here. And so this purple count basically does a little something like this. It says that we've got wave A down here. And it says this is wave B. And this is wave B as a triangle. So you go A, B, C, D, E. So now you have wave A, you have a triangle here for wave B, and then this is wave C. So of that, like I said last night, our lower target was the 61.8 retracement, which is pretty much where it hit. However, if we look at this, in terms of that, if we look at this as a wave B triangle up here, and we count this down, we've got what amounts to a 1, 2, and then a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it gives us a 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, gives us a 5, gives us a 3. So, if we count this, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, which means we should have a wave 5 coming on down here toward about 17, 5, 14 or so, right there around that 65% retracement. Now, it is possible, maybe this is a 5 count here and it's done. And if it is, then we should see price here continue up through this wave 1 termination point here. So what is this? 18,611 and 79 cents. So if price starts pushing above that, I think the best thing to do is to assume that your 5 waves have been completed, that wave C is complete here. If instead, though, it does reverse and continue down lower here, then we'll look at least at the purple count. But here's the thing. This decline here has actually hit almost the expected retracement, the 1618 extension for wave 3 in red. So the red count, remember, it goes 1, 2, 1, 2. And so then this becomes 1, 2, 3 is what they're working on here. Okay? And so if that's the case, then we can go ABC up here. But rather than, you notice the wave B triangle ends here. So wave C would start, right at this point if the purple count is correct. But the red count's correct, it'll start here. So what does that mean? Well, it just means that, let's see, okay, good, it's all coming in. It just means that you're going to have basically a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. So this will give you a 1, and you'll have a 2. And then this will all finish out as your 3. So you have a 3 down here. And you have a 4, and then you'll have a 5. And then that means your wave 3 here would likely be a little bit lower down here. So how do we know? Well, again, so what are we going to do now? To break this all down easily, we're going to see, okay, does it advance up into, above this 18,614? If it pushes up into there, most likely the purple count is correct and wave C is completed down here. If, though, this is the top of wave 4 or somewhere before it gets to that wave 1 area there, and it reverses and heads back down, okay, so maybe the wave 4 is still active, or maybe it's, maybe it's the purple count, maybe it's the red. So what we look for is as it comes down here, we're going to look for a reversal back up. And if that reversal back up just kind of gets to this, around this 18,300 area, and then turns back down again and drops back down below, then we'll know the purple count is not valid and it's the red count. And the red count is that bigger retracement. Remember, that red count says, okay, 1, 2. And this is all working into 3 down here, and then 4, and then 5. And that may be either A or 1 of a larger decline. So this is all we're watching. We're watching this area here. What happens? Does it go up into wave 1? If so, that's it. We'll look higher. You have a minimum target of the swing high up here at 19,918. And then you'll be looking above that, probably up toward, because here's the thing. If this is this right here, because of how far this has declined, if this is going to go up higher here, this is likely just a 1, 2. So we'll have a 3, 4, 5 up. And that's probably going to take price up to 25,000, 24, 25,000. But if we keep on getting this decline on down here through this, that signals this is likely at least, a more local top. And we've got probably a month of correction at least ahead of us. So it all depends on what happens here. And all this up and down here. If this comes back down and back up and then back down, or does it come down and then go up? Or does it just go from here, go up? Those 3 different scenarios are what we're watching. So it's really, it's really nothing more than that at this point. If you want to kind of figure out where we may be headed with it. Gonna get that out of there. So really, that's it, guys. I mean, that's where we're at. If we check the TPO chart here, let me get off the footprint chart here. Let's see here, TPO chart here. So again, looking at it from this way, again, I give these updates with Discord. But, we had this support here, broke down through the support, closed well below the value area here, suggested a downtrending day there on this. And that's what we've gotten so far, is this downtrending day. You can see that you're getting this point of control here now, slightly above this previous one from back here on the 28th. So it's basically finding support on that point of control for the 28th and finding resistance at this, previous kind of support area that I've had up here for, God, a week now or whatever. And so now you want to see, what does it do? Does it get rejected here and head on back down, or does it continue up and through? If it can get up through this area, it starts opening up some higher movements, especially if today closes inside yesterday's value area here. If we get a close up in this blue area, that would be a good clue that it's probably headed up, that this is probably the bottom here. If we're coming down, though, based on this particular chart, on this TPO chart, again, I said, as we were coming down through here, I said we might get a bounce right here. And so that's more or less what we've done here, is we've gotten this bounce here. So let me go ahead and throw a line on that. Like I said, if you're in Discord with us, you know this is what I was talking about. If you're not in Discord with us, you should join us. Get all this information. Lots of great stuff there. There we go. So again, finding support. And what I suggest was, if we came down through this, we might just get a bounce here, but then we'd come on down toward this 16.8. So this is what we're going to see now. We're sitting here between this resistance. Excuse me. There we go. And then this support here. And so if we can get that drop on back down through, we should be looking around 16.8. If we come on down through that, 15.4 becomes the next real big logical area for us to get to. But prior to that 15.4, you might find a little something around 16.2, right here to 16,000. That's this kind of range right here. So you've got a lot of support here. This is like 15.8 to 16.2. There's a lot of support there. So, I tell you that because if you get a breakdown through that, I think then you're probably looking at a much larger correction overall. I mean, everything else aside, just because of all this support that we've got in that 15.8 to 16.2 area. So right now we want to see, do we close on back down below that area? Now, the other thing we can look at here is the, so we can get it over here. We've got the dome here, the depth of market here, showing that we've got, significantly more stronger selling going on than we do buying, aggressive, buying and selling going on in this area. We've got 55, about 55% on the sell side, about 45% on the buy side there. So you're getting the resistance you would expect at this level right here after dropping through it. So that really kind of opens it down. We need to see price now get down through this area here, through this 18.1, to get on down here toward maybe 17.7, 17.750 kind of area. And then, of course, working on beyond that, get you that move down here towards 16.8. So just another way to look at it, guys. What's going on here? This is the 5-minute order flow chart here. Let's see what we got going on here. We had a lot of selling coming in over here back about 15 minutes ago, right up here. We did make a bit of a move up. Not a whole lot going on there. Nobody left to sell up there. Price dropped on down here. You had these buys, this 2,900 contract buys right in there into a limit order. And then you had this aggressive shorts, you had this aggressive shorting here coming on after. Then another 60.3. And so as you look down here, you're getting this heavily skewed sell down here. You have very little buying going on as it's dropping down. And so now, let me see here. What do we get here? There we go. And so now, again, this aggressive selling continues. We had some buys coming in right here around 18,344. A little bit here at 18,341. But still, selling, and then more selling again down here. No buying at all. And we're catching in a little bit of a limit order down here around 18,327 or so. So, again, your order flow chart is kind of showing the same thing that we're more or less expecting here on the TPO chart. Getting that move on down, continue to push itself down. But it's got to get through these points of control first. Right now, right there we were just at 62 on the sell side and 38 on the buy side. So again, a lot of sell pressure trying to come in this area here at the high value area. Let me see here. Who else is here? Spiral Architect, what's going on, man? Yeah, Sean. Yeah, like Hank said, use the gear icon. If you guys ever have an issue with the quality of the video, use the little gear icon in the bottom corner of your screen, of your video screen. Usually it's set to auto, and it'll default to a really low resolution. I send it out at 1080 HD, so as long as your internet connection is good enough, you should be able to get it at that. Yeah. Hey there, GT, checking in from Washington. Good to see you. Let me see here. Hank says perfect 61.8 retrace on the daily, and the Stoke, not RSI, is turning up at the bottom of the range. He's saying he says I am saying we are at or close to reversal for completion of the 5 up daily. I'm saying we are at or close to reversal for completion of the 5 up on the daily. So you think we're at a more macro top? You think? I think that's what you're saying there, right? Let me see here. Who is this? This is I can barely read. That's blue on blue. Raven Shield looks like. What version of VPVR? This right here that I have? That's right here. Just VPVR, number of rows. All you have to do is go up in here to your symbols and indicators. Type in VPVR. Visible range. That's what we're using right there. That's that. So. Oh, the one previously? Let me see here. You talking about it here? VPVR. I'm not using a VPVR in here. Yeah, I'm not using one in here. Where the candles themselves became VPVR. Oh, this right here? This? Oh, this isn't VPVR. This is just showing the volume here in the footprint charts. That's all. Yeah. It's not anything. It's just this is Sierra charts, and you have to do the I think it's $35 a month subscription level, and it gives you access to their number bars, which is footprints. And then within the footprints here, you're just getting the volume to show up here in column 2. That's all it is. Are you talking about this right here? This isn't volume. This is a TPO chart. Take profit. Not take profit. Time profit opportunity chart. Yeah. It's not volume. It's time spent at price levels. Like I said, it's a TPO chart. So yeah, not volume. Yeah. TPO. Sorry, I know I use a lot of different things here. But again, it's to expose y'all to different ways to look at the market. The one thing most people are surprised about is when we tell them that TradingView is a retail platform. It's not very robust. It's good for retail traders who are brand new, want to do it. But your pros aren't using TradingView to trade with. They're using something along the lines of, again, Sierra chart here, which has a lot more flexibility. You can do everything from TPO charts to candlestick charts to Renko to, again, everything you can do on TradingView and so much more, again, including your footprint or, numbers bar charts. So yeah, this is what the pros use. TradingView, the TradingView there is what retail. It's designed for retail. A lot easier to use, not as configurable, but it gets y'all able to see that there. So yeah. No, it's not. Yeah, like I said, VPVR is volume. This is TPO, which is time. How much time is spent at price levels. Yeah. Sometimes it's similar to what you'll see with the volume. Sometimes not quite. Sometimes you can have a strong something like this here, where you may have the time is spent all the way up here a lot. Mostly right in this area where this purple line is, where most of the time is spent in this daily candle. And then your volume could be, so this is your point of control at your time spent. And then your volume point of control can be down here, or even up here or something different. Yeah. Because you can have a lot of volume come in at a level and not spend a lot of time there. TPO charts allow you to see where is the market spending time. And so that's what we look here. So yeah. But anyway, I mean, that's kind of where we're at here. Is it possible maybe we've got a head and shoulders going on here? Yeah, maybe. You know, I'm not a big fan of these patterns, you know, head and shoulders or whatever. But if it is, this right here would be your neckline. And your target on a breakdown of that neckline would be about $356 or so below the point of breakdown based on the height of that. As long as it breaks down prior to getting, you know, it has to stay below this. You get your left shoulder, head, right shoulder. You know, your shoulders cannot be above your head. So if it was to break down from here, you know, again, that gives you a target down here of at least 17,923. We're going to see that. Let's see here. DXY. DXY popping up a bit this morning. The daily chart looks really good. The daily chart looks exciting. I'm not so sure it's really exciting. I still think we're probably got further down. We did break out through the local resistance here on RSI after this large bullish divergence. Stochc RSI has a lot of room to go. You've got this nice big candle going up here, about to take out this 2 days back, this previous spike up there. But if we zoom in here, there we go. We're getting that there. But you know, right now my count kind of has us doing maybe this thing where we've got this 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get us a 3. And so in this case, it's the blue count right here. So you know, it still could potentially be a descending wedge. But unless we start getting some serious movement up here above, you know, 92.5, 93, I think we're good seeing it maybe just as an impulse down. So that gives us a 1 and then an ABC expanded flat for a 2. And then 1, 2, 3. It looks like an A, B, and then getting C up here for a 4. And then we'll have a 5 back down here toward... if it goes up toward this R1 pivot, our you know, 5 of 3 of 5 of C of 2 should be right here around 89.817 or so. If it gets up there toward the R1. If it turns down prior to this swing high right here, then we're looking at wave 5 being closer to around 89.528. So that's what I'm kind of watching there as far as that goes. But again, you know, if this is you know, heading up, then you know, you should expect to see on Bitcoin and others some serious you know, movement in the other way eventually. You know, along with it may not happen right at the exact moment, unless there's a strong pop up all of a sudden, in which case you'll see everything just drop, and you'll have to see everybody go, why is everything dropping? Gold, silver, stocks, Bitcoin, it's all dropping at the same time. Why is that happening? Well, it'd be because there was a sudden, check your DXY chart, you'll probably see a large move up if that were to happen. So like I said, right now I'm still kind of leaning to further downside, but you can, you know, it is possible that you have an ABC as a 1, and this is a 2, and then an ABC as a 3, and this is a 4, and then maybe like an ABC as a 5 here. I think that's possible still. Let me make sure where that swing low was. If this is wave 3, it has to be shorter than wave 1, but larger than wave 5. So there we go. Oops, nope. Got a little bit off there. Let me move that right here. And as you can see right here, that comes in right around that 1-to-1 extension. So it is, as long as it does not go any lower than this where it's at right here, it looks like it could potentially be, you know, an ending diagonal as an ABC for a 1, and then a 2, and then an ABC for a 3, and then a 4, then an ABC for a 5. But like I said, I don't necessarily think that's what's going on at the moment. The daily would suggest that may be what's going on, but your other time frames are looking more like we've got further downside. So my thought is one of two things would have to happen for this to be the bottom down here already. We'd have to either see a large sudden move up, or we're going to have to see, as this moves up here, we're going to have to see consolidations near the top of the move up and see RSI, Stochk RSI reset back down and then have it push up after that. But, it's been continuing pretty high here without making a lot of leeway, headway here at the moment. So still has me think we might have further downside there. But as you see, the measurements there make it that it could potentially be done as an any diagonal. And of course you have the overlap here between, what would be wave 1 down here and wave 4 right here. So, as I said there, you'd have, this A, B, C is 1, and that's 2, and then A, B, C is 3, and then your 4 there, and then you'd have basically something along the lines of an A, B, C at 5. Not a big fan of the way that looks at all, but, until it proves that it's not, until it goes lower, until we get a drop down below that, we have to be aware that it is a possibility. Let me see here. Sorry, TPO, time, price, opportunity. Yeah. Thanks, Hank. Let me see here. Hank's got a target of SPX target of 4,100. So, if the SPX is going to go up to 4,100, more likely than not, DXY would have to continue a bit lower, which would be in line with the current count there that I've got on there. So, I think overall the DXY, remains closer to being done than not. But, we still need to see it finish out. We need to see how it plays out here, how it finishes out. We've got a lot of stuff going on here stateside as far as, financial stuff. Again, Biden's president-elect. Texas has filed a lawsuit in court against Michigan, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and whatever the other state is, because of their handling of or mishandling of election laws, I guess. Apparently, they're arguing that these states violated the election laws by the way in which they did the mail-in ballots and whatnot. And so this is going to the court. And so if the court agrees with Texas, then there's two possibilities, I think, with that. One would be they just throw out all the mail-in ballots. And if they do that, then most likely Trump wins. If you count the ballots without the mail-ins, Trump wins. The other thing is that they say, yes, they violated the laws and everything. And at that point, it goes to Congress to be voted. And, each member gets one vote. And I believe we've got 30-something to 19 as far as Republicans to Democrats. And you are required to vote party lines. So, again, Trump would win. And so that kind of craziness there, affects, everybody's ideas of stimulus and what's coming on. And it's going to have probably, an emotional impact on what's going on in the markets. That could be the straw that sends things one way or the other overall. So a lot going on with that right now, guys. It's not silly stuff. No, Texas isn't being stupid. Their arguments are pretty valid. If you look at election laws and whatnot. So we'll have to see how that gets ruled on in court. So that's kind of where we're at. China slips into deflation. I think overnight was when it happened. I saw the news late last night when I was putting out hot takes. So they've slipped into deflation now. You've got the Eurozone over there looking at deflation. So people say, oh, the U.S. isn't going to go. Well, I mean, why not? Everybody else is. So we'll see how that all plays out there. Let me see here. Let me catch up with you guys here. Jordan's a believer that says this is the bottom for the dollar. Let's see. He says Trump wins, markets nuke 90% down like in Japan, or dollar to 103. Oh, dollar would go a lot higher than 103 then if that was the case. I mean, if we're hitting deflation, dollar should probably be likely to hit like 116 to 125 at least. Projections, potentially up to 150. I mean, that's where it could potentially go. Yeah, a lot higher than just 103. Though I think 103 is a good starting point for sure. Yeah, and then we'll see how, everything's going with it at that time. Yeah. Let me see here. Let's see. Devin, you don't think what's going to happen? The Trump thing? I'm telling you, man, again, if you look at election laws, there's a good argument to be made that they were broken. And if they were broken, then, the court can't it shouldn't realistically allow any votes to stay in there. I mean, I don't care if you're, a pro-Biden or pro-Trump person or not either. Me, I'm not either. I'm not a fan of, anybody that's running for office because what is it? They all want to just, exert their power onto everybody else. They believe that they're more right than everybody else, and it's okay to use power to do that. But, if we look at the laws and the way they're written, I mean, the handling of the mail-in ballots and whatnot from them, I think that's probably the biggest issue right now. And again, what would they do? Well, I think rather than just, I think the court would send it to Congress to do it, to vote per the, per the laws. And, the idea being that, you have to vote down party lines, because the idea being that if more, and each state only has one vote. So the idea being that, the country in general is leaning one way or the other, is kind of the way you look at that. So I don't know, guys. It's pretty interesting from a legal standpoint. If you've got a law degree like me, or I think probably you're more interested than most people in what goes on here right now, what goes on with that. But I would expect absolute craziness to happen if that happens, not just in the markets but socially as well. Because people all have their certain strongly held beliefs. And most don't have a reason to have strongly held beliefs other than that's the way they were raised or some soundbite. So yeah, it could get really interesting, which again would just be all in with the whole idea of the fourth turning. That's that book I told you guys you should read. The idea that society, everything moves in waves and returns and cycles. And this is just our societal cycle finishing up here, reverting back. Let's see here. Let's see here. Hank, the election isn't over though. That's the problem. You remember back, now Hank, you're not in the U.S., so maybe you don't know, but back in 2000, I guess it was, when Gore was projected to be or was said to be the winner. He was the president-elect. And then, the courts overturned some stuff with Florida or whatever it was. And it ended up being that Bush won. Yeah, same idea. And this is not a lawsuit by Trump. This is a lawsuit by the state of Texas against the states of, Georgia, Michigan or whatever, and those, Pennsylvania. So yeah, I mean, it's not, this isn't a Trump thing. This is a states thing right now. So we'll see what happens. If you just play it off as silliness and nothingness, I mean, you're really missing the gravity of what's actually going on legally right now. This isn't anybody throwing a temper tantrum. This is our political system doing, what it's designed to do. So we'll see what happens. Let me see here. Let's see here. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I don't necessarily think either way on that. But whatever happens, if it does happen to come out that way, that Trump ends up pulling this out somehow, it's going to be absolutely crazy. I mean, the only way it stops right now, with everything that's going on, is if Trump goes ahead and concedes. If he concedes, then, that's it and over. So, everybody wants to, everybody without a law degree or, a poli-sci degree and all that stuff, mark my words, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Well, you may be right. But it's not that you have any special understanding of what's going on, especially if you make light of the actual court case that's going through right now. There's a lot more to it than what most people seem to understand. And so that's my only point. Be careful what you guys do. I mean, again, simply put, we can do it this way. Everybody and their grandmother pretty much thought that this was the triangle. They thought this was it. And they swore it was going to go up. And I told you be cautious. I said wait for the breakout above wave D. And they were wrong. And then they swore that this was it. And they were wrong. So, I mean, it's the same way. Human beings tend to do that. They tend to feel like they know more than they do. Again, it's the whole thing that comes back to trading. We tend to give ourselves more credit. We tend to think that we're better than what we are. And we kind of play down the bad things of what we do, the bad side of what we do. We kind of play up the good things and play down the bad things. And it's just human nature. It's not just in the markets and everything. But what it does is it gives you a false sense of risk of what you're actually doing and what you're saying and whatnot. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with everything. Like I said, if it does, it'd be interesting. I think from a purely legal standpoint, again, having been to law school and studied all this junk, I just think it would be kind of, I just think it would be cool as a lawsuit that goes through and that it has such a large impact on what we do, politically. To me, that's pretty exciting to me. But honestly, whether Biden's in or Trump's in, we're still all in the same boat, guys. You're not going to get any special care or whatever because Biden's in, that Trump's not in or whatever. So just understand that. Power is power, guys. You're nothing. Like in the markets, your retail, so your liquidity. Same idea in politics. You're nothing. I'm nothing. We're all nothing, right? Let me see here. Chemo says our political poop show has been entertaining, though, for sure. It's definitely been something. I mean, it's not been boring. That's for sure. What I do hate about it is that everybody is so divisive. Everybody is so much against each other based on party lines or pro-Trump, anti-Trump. Y'all fools don't even get it, man. None of them care about you. They don't. That's the truth. You guys, believe it or not, those people that you hate because they believe in Trump or something actually probably care about you a lot more than Trump does. And those of you who hate the people who love Biden, understand that they probably love you more than Biden does. It's all about politics, guys, especially if you're people that have been in office for so long. It's just about remaining in office. I mean, again, guys, I'm really anti-government. You guys know that. I'm not a big fan of political parties. It tends to divide societies, man. You guys should be out there helping each other, not worrying about whether you like Trump or you like Biden or whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, it all comes out the same. Government gets more power. You have less freedom. And you have less say-so in your life. That's not cool, man. But what do I know, right? Just a guy. Yeah, exactly. Trump is a symptom of what's going on with exactly, Hank. Trump is a symptom of what's going on with the whole political system. Yeah. He's there because of what's going on. But neither one of them are going to do anything that's going to do anything really. This thing we have, this country we have, kind of runs on its own more or less now, regardless of who's in office. It kind of continues to do its thing. Government's basically run by agencies now. For all intents and purposes, it is. The IRS, the SEC, these are all, they kind of do their thing, which is what the Constitution sets aside, is the ability for Congress to create agencies that can handle these specific things on their own without, that can create more or less law. It's not law, but they say, okay, well, these things happen this way, then they happen that way, unless Congress steps in and says something otherwise. But Congress usually won't, because again, these agencies are put there to deal with these things, the EPA, all this stuff. It just becomes this big machine working through. These are people that go on, guys, you know what? It's not that government's any one person. It's just people going and doing a job. Most people in government, they're like you and me. They're just going to do a job. But, we associate them with what they do, with what they work for. So, yeah. Exactly. They don't love you, they love your vote. Yeah. All you have to do is look at what happens to presidents after they leave office. What happens to their net worth? I think Clinton's worth something like $200 or $300 million now. Obama's worth, stupid amounts now as well. They come in with nothing or little to nothing many times, and they leave office, and then they use all that clout and all those connections, everything they have after they leave, to make all this money. That's what it's about, guys. It's about setting yourself up afterward. So yeah. That's right. Your fellow people are not your enemies, guys. I think it's probably the best way to say it. I love you guys. Whether you're really pro-Trump or really pro-Biden or really pro some idiot libertarian person, or it's just another political party, guys. I love y'all the same, man. I don't feel any love lost towards you or any hatred towards you because you want Biden in there or something, or because you want Trump in there. Because I think if we were left to our own devices, together we'd do a lot better and help each other a lot more, and people would be a lot better off. Relying on one another than trying to rely on government. Again, government just causes, friction. Because everybody wants their way. And to get their way, they have to necessarily hurt another group of people. And it's not because they want to hurt another group of people. It's just because they want their way. Humans are by nature lazy. I don't think that humans, are by nature evil. I think they're by nature lazy. And other people get hurt. It's not because they wanted to hurt them, but it's because they wanted what they wanted. And government gives you the ability to do that. So, Sean says, I want to be president. It doesn't require any experience for the job. Haha. Hank, I like your quote. Yeah, I've seen that before as well. I forget who says it, but democracy is the first. Wasn't it a writer that said that? Democracy is the worst form of government, except for all those other forms that have been tried from time to time. Yeah. But, we also notice that governments don't stay in power for, the same government doesn't usually stay in power for any significant length of time. It's not like they stay in power for thousands of years or anything. It's always being toppled and new things started, right? Churchill, that's who it was. Yes, Churchill. GT, royal blood makes for good presidents. Just kidding. But anyway, guys, sorry, I didn't mean to get on that political side there. But, when it comes to the markets and, we always talk about the social mood. That's what's driving the market. What do the market participants feel? How are they feeling? That's what it's about. That's what's driving markets. What do they believe? And so, that's where we get. So if something like that were to happen where, everybody's kind of like, oh, Biden's going to win, Biden's president, like, he's going to be in there. And then it was to go to court here and, Trump ends up winning. That's going to create, extreme divisiveness. Again, I think we're going to see the results in the stock market. It's going to get extremely volatile. And I think we're going to see a return to all the stuff we had earlier this year, probably to a greater extreme. All the looting and the protesting and whatnot. Protesting, I think, is great, perfectly fine. Looting is another issue. But I think, again, I think it's where we get to if that were to happen. If Biden sticks to it and gets through it, makes it through, things are what they are. But again, we got a Republican Congress there. I don't think they're going to, to let the Democrats get through with much stimulus. And I think the stimulus, this $1 trillion idea right now, is pretty much priced in at this point. So if you want to make the dollar tank, you'd have to pass some kind of stimulus, some significantly greater stimulus than $1 trillion. I think. And so, again, that of course has its impact on the rest of the markets there. Let's see here. Yeah, exactly, Hank. And there's my part of my reasoning about the everybody is all, the dollar's dying, it's going to be going away real soon here and all that, and I don't believe so. I don't think so. And Hank says it right there. He says, to bring it full circle, you can be against the monetary control that nations have, but replacing it with another form isn't easy. And that's exactly right. It's exactly the thing. Everybody on crypto Twitter is so stuck on Bitcoin that they think that it's so easy, that it's just inevitable that Bitcoin's going to take over. I think the working alternative is that all this sudden interest in Bitcoin right now, with the rest of everything else that being the way it is, with the pandemic, the economy, inflation possibilities, all these things being like they are, I think Bitcoin could basically be like that signal that, hey, we've hit the peak of risk on. These big, asset managers are putting their money into the most volatile thing out there. And so whereas, all the very pro Bitcoin people right now, bullish, emotionally bullish right now, think that, it's the beginning of a new bull trend. I think you could just as easily argue that it's the turning point, that it's that point that says the economy's just had enough. It can't do any more. This is the epitome of excess, of risk. And that doesn't happen at bottoms, guys. That happens at tops before the economy tanks. It's that over risk, that over excessive risk that leads the economy to tank. So, again, not that I'm saying that's definitely going to happen, but if you're not understanding that and you're just blindly thinking everything's bullish and that's all there is to it, I think you kind of put yourself at a disadvantage in the market. Now, that doesn't, even if this is like, the top, the epitome of risk, all this blah, 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 it doesn't mean price can't go up 5 or 10,000 more before it does reverse. But it means that you should be taking note of actually what's going on, not just in a small vacuum. Take it in context of what's going on with everything else in the world. I appreciate that, Hank. Thanks, man. Yeah. Again, my goal here is that people, when they come in, if they catch me talking some point, they understand that most likely they're being emotional in any market they're in. And that if they're emotional, they're nothing more than liquidity. They don't have much of a chance of being successful at trading. You have to really take a measured approach of what's going on. And just because you're cautious doesn't mean you can't trade and make money, guys. It just means that you've got those concerns and you're watching to see how things play out. Do they get to that point? If they don't, well, great. You're still trading. You're doing well. It's fine. But if they do, there's your edge. You were ready. You were waiting. You knew it was a possibility. You weren't just blindly chucking money in. You've got MicroStrategy now releasing a $550 million, trying to get that money to buy more Bitcoin, right? Debt issuance, right? Everybody's like, oh, Saylor's so smart. Saylor's so smart. I'll tell you what, if price tanks right now and heads down to 3,000 or 1,000 or something like that, they're not going to be saying he's smart. Because he's putting excessive amounts of money at the top. Now, if it continues to be bullish and head up, well, then maybe he's smart. But don't for a second believe that he would keep everything held in there as some treasury thing. You know, if price was to tank, you know, his average buy here recently was what, 19.5? If price goes down to 10,000, he just lost half on that buy, on that, you know, however much he said they just recently bought. You know, if he's getting to 10, he's down below everything. He's negative for everything he's bought. He's lost a lot of money. Goes down to 5, significantly more. Do you think he's really going to keep holding it for that? Gets down to 3. Now, I could be wrong, and he does, and he makes it through it. I mean, after all, he's got something like 70% of the voting rights, I think. But that doesn't make a lot of sense. People like him are interested in protecting and growing their wealth. They're not interested in writing something down huge like that. They might be willing to buy back in again at lower prices, but they're most likely than not going to sell on the way down, which is going to add a whole bunch more supply pressure to the market. So, let me see here. So anyway, I mean, that's kind of where we're at here, guys. You know, so right now do we get this breakdown here? Again, I think we've just got a 4 here. We had a 50% retracement, so we could have a 5 coming down here, you know, a bit lower down toward that 17, 5, 14, 15 area. But if on that reversal, again, if we get stuck, you know, right here around this 18,275, 18,300, this higher volume node here, or, you know, this area, and we come back down again, you know, to me, at that point, this purple's likely not it, and the red is what's it. And that red, you know, foretells a much larger decline. So just kind of keep watching it. But again, if we go up from here, or if we come on down here, you know, to that 17 level and then push up through above 4 here again, well, it makes the most sense that the purple count is correct. And like I said, at that point, this is basically wave 2 completion of a 5-wave advance toward around 25,000. So, yeah. Let's see here. Do you think we averted, postponed, or at the brink of a recession? Oh, I think if it goes, it's going to be more than a recession. I mean, I don't even want to use the word recession. I think depression is probably where we're headed. Again, and for me, my whole view is you know, related to the credit bubble. That's where we're at. You guys can talk about money printing and all this other stuff, but let's talk about the real thing. It's the credit. The credit continues to contract. I've shown you guys the charts from the St. Louis Fed. And as long as credit continues to contract, there's nothing positive that can come out of the economy. And it's contracting at such a level that it would be a very significant correction here. Like I said, I think it would be like the end of the credit bubble, where we're at here, the pop of it. And everything's been riding up on credit for so long that that's a huge bit of excess that has to be cleansed from the market. And that's why I would see it as a depression rather than a recession. I don't think we've averted anything right now. It's possible we could have, but right now you can't say that we have. I don't believe you can. We'll see. You know, we'll see what goes on here now. Did I notice the parallel channel with support from the 8th of November and the 27th of November? Let's see here. 8th of November and 27th of November. Let's see. That's this one, I think, right? 8th of November. This one right here. I assume you mean this one right here. For me, it's the 7th. This decline, and then the 26th. For me, it's the 7th and 26th. So I assume you mean those. You know, your time frame, you're probably ahead of me a little bit in time. So that would give us then what? All right, let me get rid of some of this other stuff real quick here, and then I've got to get out of here. Let me remove these two other time frames. Excuse me. Let's see here. Guys, dug it. There we go. Man, TradingView, I don't know what you did with this. Visibility, let's get off the days there. There we go. Visibility, let's get this off the days. There we go. Let's do this one again. Yeah, I think I see what you're talking about now. Let's see here. All right. So let's bring it up there. How about there? Yeah, I see what you're saying here. Yeah, so you get the bounce off, you get the touch here, and then the bounce right there. Okay. Let me throw this back off another here again. Yeah, so basically what we have is this, touch at the bottom, touch at the top, touch at the bottom, misses the top, comes down. We got a descending channel. So yeah, I mean, if you break down below that, I mean, that makes all the sense in the world. It's right there off the pivot. So whether you look at the channel itself, excuse me, or if you just look at the daily pivot here, if you drop it below that, that should signal that you're likely to target the S1 and potentially the S2. Now, you came in sideways between the pivot and the R1. Do we get the bounce off the pivot? If we're trading pivots, this is what we're looking at. With this bounce and move above the swing high here? Or do we drop below it? And if we drop below it, we should be generally looking for the S1, which gets you right about this high volume node here. And if we fall through that, then we should be looking generally down here toward the S2. Now, at that point, it could go further, but just work on it. This is where we look at that range, the S2 to the R2 on that. Let's see here. Oh, man, yeah, Apple's ridiculously priced AirPod Pros or whatever. I mean, seriously. God, I've got the money. I'm not going to go waste it on that. $700-800 for a pair of AirPod? No, that's just dumb. That's over half the price of the stupid phone. I don't think they're that good. I don't think that they've got that kind of technology in it that deserves a price like that. But everybody wants what's new. Again, if we're looking at what we're doing societally and we're trying to figure out where is society at in terms of risk, I mean, look at that. Risk and excess and whatever. The fact that Apple thinks that they can sell something like that, and if they do, that's where people's heads are. Which, again, should make you really concerned if you're trying to be bullish in your markets. Because that type of excessiveness, we're at extremes of excessiveness in some metrics that we've never seen before. Others, we're at places like the 2000, the dot-com bubble burst there at the top of that. We're at 1987 before Black Friday. Was it Black Friday? Black Monday, whatever it was, when the stock market dropped like 40% in a day or two. We're at those levels of extremes right now. And so why would you see that and then go, oh, but we're fine, we're going to go up? Is it possible? Sure, anything's possible. Is it likely? Well, historically, when we've been at these levels, it's resulted in strong multi-year corrections. So again, one of the biggest things that traders often face within themselves is this belief that this time it's going to be different. It rarely is ever different. So always keep that in mind. Hank says house prices over there in the Netherlands kept rising 7% per year since forever, and COVID did not slow that down. Should have. House prices were going crazy over here too with lumber. Lumber went up because of house prices, everything building. But we're starting to see cracks in that now here on stateside. We definitely see that in commercial properties. But even in residential, we're starting to see that. Some good deals are starting to show up. I know. I'm looking. I'm looking to buy something. So we're starting to get some really good deals in those 7-figure ranges, especially. Yeah. But anyway, all right, guys. So there we go. Let me get out of here. I hope you guys have, it's not that you guys have to believe me. I could be wrong. But what I would hope is that you would at least be, you'd use the opportunity to at least consider things that maybe you're not considering. Or maybe to at least consider that you might be emotionally bullish, whatever market you're in, whether it's stocks or, other currencies against the dollar or, Bitcoin or whatever. Because at the end of the day, you just want to be careful, guys. You don't want to blindly throw money into something. Especially not when everybody else is head over heels about it. Most of the time, that doesn't work out too well. So, we'll see what happens there, guys. Anyway, listen, we'd love to have you join us over there at howtotradetowin.com. One of the other things we do is we've got a macro finance, money, credit, kind of channel in there where we post links to important concepts having to do with QE and money and, again, credit and macroeconomics, stuff like that, to kind of help all of our members get a better footing on what they may not understand about what's going on around them. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to come to the same results that I do, the thoughts that I do. But it does help that you at least understand how these things work rather than, the misunderstanding that's mostly parroted around as memes online. So there you go, guys. Anyway, y'all have a fantastic day. Take care. Trade safe. Don't forget, the only thing you control in the market is how much you lose. So there's absolutely nothing more important to what you do as a trader than your risk management. So keep working on it. Keep getting better at it. And remember to use it religiously. Every day, guys. Every time you trade. Should be your first and last thought, all right? If you can do that, you're going to put yourself in a lot greater position to be successful as a trader. If you don't do it, I can all but guarantee your failure as a trader. Seriously. So you guys have a great day. Take care. If you're in Discord, guys, we will see you over there, all right? Take care, everybody.